Perfect.
Hi everyone, it's Veronica Bartolini with Codebreaker Real Talk. And I'm over here with Britany. I knew her as Britany. I knew you as Britany Lycan or Duncan now, but I bought a few things from you. Like you did readings every day. I would tune into your channel. I bought this beautiful, I don't know what it is. It's a tower of, I call it my mustard seed tower.
That works. I'm pretty sure that was, I think that it was a type of jade. They tried to call it yellow dragon or dragon jade, things like that. And so it's just a type of jade. And I love that color and I love that intensity that it comes off. Yeah.
Yes, and I love your hair. Like I said, I was always watching you every day. I had just started my YouTube channel. I think it was like 6 years ago. And you would be outside of your apartment doing readings for everybody. You would tell everybody about your life and what had happened to you. And back in the day, you were with Mr. Lycan, I forget his name, and you guys started doing all these shows on crystals. And every night, like once a week or twice a week, you guys would just go online. And I'm like, dang, I gotta buy me some crystals, because back then I had already gone to the gem show right here in Arizona. And I'm like, I need some energy from her, from Britany. And the other day, yes, Mama, the other day I was looking through one of my junk journals and I found your letter that said thank you, your card.
Yeah.
And I said I gotta reach out to her. So tell
That makes
everybody.
my heart so happy. You're right. You did know me as Britany Lycan, and I am not gonna lie. I went through, after the dissolution of my relationship, I went through a crisis, like an identity crisis there for a little bit. I'm still trying to come back to who I am, because my name was tied to that part of my life for so long. I still love doing crystals. I do crystals. As a matter of fact, I have a crystal party actually coming from my home. So I'm going to have it for my locals in September. So I'm very excited to do that. It's my first time hosting like a crystal party. I cannot wait to show people and showcase those things that, I mean, like you said, you needed the energy from me, the way that I interact, the love that I have for crystals, the love that I have for the healing properties, and the energy exchange itself is always very palpable when you're with me. And so I can't wait to bring that into fruition with my locals. Now, I did take a step back.
There's Chad, my co-host.
Yay, hi.
Looking at everybody's colors going, okay, I'm going to contrast here, but I don't know. Let me see. This is fine, right? Green?
Yes, it's beautiful. This is my co-host, brother, warrior, pink and purple, guardian, Chad. I love it. It's
pink,
perfect.
purple, and green.
Yeah.
What do you think, Britany?
I think I have all of those colors in me, so we're going to be a great matching pair.
Yes. Guess what? I got this.
There you go.
I found this mermaid, and she's like a fossil, a mammoth fossil. I found it like 3 years ago at the gem show, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I had this guy, he was barely starting out like 7 years ago and making jewelry, and I had him make me a beautiful see-through crystal heart, and my daughter too. So I'm always trying to help people that are in our community. So Chad, we're recording, by the way. Just leave it. I love it because it also matches the hair on your chinny chin. Like it goes perfect with your eyes too. Isn't he gorgeous?
So we're recording?
Absolutely adorable.
Yes, we're recording.
How long have we been recording?
All this time.
Nice.
We started about 5 minutes ago.
We saw your booty, so you're good.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So I met Britany. Yes, Mama. Nice to have you here, Britany, too. And if you want to bring your significant other, I don't know what's going on, because I know you were with that man, and then you got with another girl. So all three of you guys were together, and I'm like, good for her. Like, you go, girl. Now I don't know what you're doing now.
Exactly, living my best life. Yeah. So Jason and I were together for 12. I mean, to be fair, I said prior to him that I always wanted a husband and a wife. And I always thought that at 14, I knew I was going to have a husband and a wife. And, so when him and I were together for a total of like, I don't know, we had been together 11 years. And I had said, all right, it's time for us to open that channel up, because got to find the wife. And it started as a, a generalization or a very narrow focus of, I got a joking around. I said, we need someone like Wonder Woman. And he was like, well, yeah, exactly. He was like, well, you could bring her into the relationship. And a month went by and I was like, well, are we talking about Wonder Woman or like, will Gal Gadot do? And he was like, well, you could have Gal. And I was like, okay. And then another month went by and I was like, okay, well, does it have to be Gal Gadot or can it be any Israeli trained stunt woman, Wonder Woman, any real dope woman? And he was like, well, I guess that would be fine. And another month went later and I was like, how about she's just awesome? Let's just start with awesome. And that immediately called in Angie into, now to be fair, Angie and I had been friends, but that immediately called Angie into our reality and our flow. And it was an amazing turn of events. And then it led to the explosion of the differences in healing between people. And that was a huge, I tend to require a lot of healing when you're in my presence.
Same here.
Because I make you vibrate up. I am constantly holding a high standard of myself and the people around me. I refuse to have, I am 30, fixing to be 38 years old. I'm not screaming, not one more time. I'm not fighting, not one more time. I'm not having some narcissistic back and forth trauma throwing at each other. I'm not doing that. I don't want to live my life by that. And we could not have a conversation as adults. And it was just getting to a point where I was feeling completely isolated from the healing process. And I couldn't maintain my own dignity in this
identity.
Yeah. And so I required of him to go away and heal. And, I tried to facilitate a safe space for that to happen because I am nothing if not fair and safe. Those are the two things that I require of myself in every interaction, is that I am fair and safe, and that I don't allow my ego and my, my traumas to supersede the situation. And when all of that, so for about 2 years, I also was off of Facebook. I was not doing my feeds. I was not doing my readings. I was not doing my morning breathings. As a matter of fact, I just started back to those, and I'm talking about recently. And the second that I gave out the energy that I know that I can give, the second that I give out that light that I am so infamously known for in our little circles, was the second that you and I reconnected. I'm talking within days. Yeah. And so it's of course in alignment as it should be.
Yes.
But yeah, so now her and I are trying to traverse this world, completely figuring it out, trying to not only live a life of our dedication to our self-love and our powers and our strengths and everything we have. We're trying to figure out how to do that together. And it's a rocky fucking road. It's rocky. And what I mean by that is because when you have such a there's no skipping, there's no spiritual bypassing, there's no right. You have to figure it out. I'm going to require me, and I'm going to require her to figure this out, and which forces her to be in a.
Have her come in the show.
Yeah, she's right here. She's here.
Come to the camera. Hi, Mama. How are you again?
So this is Angie. She's here with us.
She's beautiful.
So no, I mean I absolutely force her to face her own all the time. I'm constantly making her dig deeper and not look outside of herself for any type of validation or healing. There's no, and to each their own in their belief system, but my way of viewing the things that we go through is there's no outside entity that's going to affect my thoughts. It's me, it's my brain. My brain's big enough to make thoughts that don't align with my soul. So I just have to know that doesn't align with my soul, and then I have to change it. And I require that of her too. And so I know it's been tough for her in that regard of me constantly. She doesn't get much of a break. She doesn't get to have a lot of emotions without me. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out.
How is she? Angie, right?
Yeah.
Is it Angelica or just Angie?
Angie, she does not have any type of Spanish tongue. She's far too.
My real name is Angela, but I go by Angie. I am mostly German and Polish, so.
Beautiful, yes.
Dzień
How
dobry.
are you? Huh?
Oh, I said dzień dobry.
Yeah.
That's all my Polish. That's all my Polish.
I don't speak it. It's just from the DNA, so we're good. We are good.
You already taught us more than we've ever known.
So Angie, how long have you been with Britany? How did you? I know you guys were friends before, but how do you deal with? Do you feel pressure? Because I know Britany, and I know the way Chad deals with me. He's like, Veronica. Like he's an Aries, so I'm so grateful he's an Aries. So I how do you deal with me, Chad? And he's like, he says sometimes you're demanding, sometimes you're not, but he knows my heart, right, Chad? So how do you do it, Angela?
Well, I'm working on changing my entire way, honestly. Like I was more of the avoidant personality. I was more of the shut down,
internal
processor. I need to go over everything first by myself, and then when I'm done, then I'll share. And so I'm working on different ways because it just wasn't working great. And we just had a live the other night, and I told her, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, you hit my deepest walls, like that initial heart wall that we put up when we're young and we're just trying to survive in life. That
from like the first time that you know that it's not safe, and it just builds from there.
And it's just like that. It's always been there. It's always been with me. So my life has been built on top of that. I'm finally to the point where we are down there. So I'm trying to figure it out.
And to be fair, like I said, I don't let it rest, because the one thing that I won't do is let something build. I do not want explosive behavior. I don't want resentment. I am not here to, cater to any type of discord whatsoever.
And the way I grew up is my words didn't really matter. So I could say it as many times and I wasn't heard. So I tend to keep things in and like kind of just go over things in my head, to where Britany's a lot more vocal as it's happening.
Yeah, definitely had to figure that out.
Gotta figure out, like, I have to talk about it, just have to talk about it. And I'm just now being okay with being seen. Like there was a lot that I needed to go through to even get to where I'm at. And I still have a lot of work to do. Like even now, I feel like I need like two days to like go into myself and just sit there and just find what I can find now at this point. So
and so she really is, and there's such a difference in healing. But one of the things that I want to teach is that it can still be done, that you can move through healing as long as progress is being made. You can move through indifferences as long as progress is being made. You can move through retraining your brain, because that's really what it boils down to. Like she was talking about, she built her personality, she built her response systems, her reactive systems, her coping mechanisms, all from a tiny moment that happened when she was little, as we all do. She is not some rando in this situation. Everybody does it. We all go through it. We build this wall. We stack our traumas, our triggers, our hardships, our masks, our everything on top of that foundation from that one singular moment. And it becomes our personality. It becomes our way of, like I said, our coping mechanisms, how we deal with traumas, how we deal with adversity and all that. And it truly does become a facet of us. And I want to break that down for everyone. It should not be. The second that you have that click and that shift from this healing perspective of it, and I mean this in the most respectful way, it doesn't matter. I want you to go and deal, and I want you to love your inner child, and you should absolutely be growing from that. But the fact of the matter is, it does not matter where your trauma came from. It matters how you're going to respond and move through this world now. How are you going to put your feet on the floor differently? How are you going to make the changes within to respond differently and love differently and cope differently? And I genuinely think that that's what this world needs more of right now. A lot of us just went through this big period of shadow work where we were digging all the deep trenches, and we were figuring out where all of these things came from and all that. Now what? And that's what I want to do, is I want to teach the now what. I want to teach women, especially, and now I'm not saying that men can't learn too, but I do gear myself towards the feminine energy when it comes to reprogramming the brain and teaching yourself how to stop the negative self-talk, stop the opinions of you that were formed by people that don't matter. And if they did matter, it's an incomplete formed opinion and it no longer reflects who you are now. How are you changing those things? So that's one of the big things that I'm working on now. I mean, of course, I'm sure that I'll incorporate crystals into it, but that's the next goal for me, is to figure out how to incorporate the teachings that I have in my head into the world and apply them.
Thank you. Chad has
I'm a guinea pig.
Correct.
no, as long as you're loving it, and you know how it goes. As long as nobody's being forced to do anything, we're good.
Oh, well.
Oh, okay. Well, we could go into the whips and chains, but maybe that's
I mean, I was going to go there, absolutely, because that's just who I am. But what I mean is, I do force, in a way, I do force a standard vibration. I really do. Because I don't want my home or my spirit affected, my soul affected by a vibration lower than the one I want to maintain. Anything like, as long as there's, that high standard, anything flows with me. But I do force her to shape up.
Well, good. You enjoy it, you keep going. No, I get you. The oscillation, what they call, the high vibration, they go hand in hand here too, as well as in my home. I won't put up for bullshit. I as well as you pretty much know my story. I've gone through so much abuse, and since childhood, then with the marriage and all that, and near-death experience. So now I'm at a point where I'm healing my body. I've been through the 29 surgeries, and they want more. And I'm like, you know what? I need to the pain that I'm having. I just had a talk with one of my other police officer friends, buddies. He is the exact same mirror, and I'll chat about it later in private if my friend will allow it. But it's kind of like we're the mirror image of each other. He's in another country, and we both discovered that it's due to our parents, obviously, more our mother, the narcissistic thing. And so the pain in the lats, the pain that I have, like, thank you, Chad. The other day I went for a massage, and that Asian woman, like, did such good thing with her, her, to disperse that energy. And then yesterday I had to see my mom, and I'm like, we almost got in a car accident because she doesn't let me drive, and I'm barely able to drive now after the surgeries. But there's a semi, and I'm like, am I gonna die? And I'm like, no, I put a shield up on me and her, and then she started laughing. I'm like, Mom, like, you can't be driving like this, like. She goes, well, maybe you would, maybe this would have been our day to both go. And I'm like, no, Mom, I'm not going this way. I have too much to do still. And to this day, she takes such risks with me that I cannot. I told my sister, I'm like, I can't be driving. I can't be in the vehicle with my mother. It's just, it reminds me of childhood trauma. So the pain that's in our body, we also have to let that be taken out through massages, through not only that, but I just had a help also by, her name is Aurelia Coates. She did the singing bowl thing with me for an hour. We broke some contracts that I had, even though if I didn't have them with the SSP, certain people I broke, you know, and then I was starting to get attacked, and it's like, you know, still to this day, this person is attacking, but that energy, I use it for good. I'm gonna get me a new motor for my vehicle. I'm gonna, you know, I manifested, you know, for my friends, whatever they need, whatever you guys need, that's gonna be manifested. Okay.
Yeah.
Times 1,000-fold to the 100th power, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's for my kids, you know, it this we have the power to transmute things in our lives. And real quick, when I was going to DBT, which is dialectical behavioral therapy, for 3 years,
Yeah.
and PTSD as well as that, I was in a relationship after my divorce that I was, you know, I was going to get married again, and I was like, I can't do this, because the guy
Yeah.
was not, you know, but I'm not going to go into detail, but my PTSD lady, she's like, you're not going to heal, Veronica, because you're walking on eggshells. And she recommended me to read that book, Walking on Eggshells. And she's like, how do you expect to heal if you're still being hurt at home? And I'm like, yeah, well, you know, and I was upset, but then I let him go. And that started more healing and more healing. Um, I ended up homeless. I'm sure you know, Brittany, we a lot of us have gone through that with my daughter. And but now I'm in a different place where I'm healing.
Yeah.
I'm healing. Like it's been, if you let yourself spiral, and you let those people, those beings that are not helping for your best, you know, in this world, you can spiral. So you can
So easy to
actually
do. Yeah.
unspiral. Yeah. So
Yeah.
with that, Chad, do you have something to say? Because you know me, I talk a lot too.
Yeah, I'm still piecing together everything that's being discussed. I just wanted to make sure, because I missed the introduction, and I do apologize. And that was a
It's
little bit
okay.
of I thought we were waiting beforehand, so
It's okay,
No
no worries.
worries.
You
okay, I
didn't miss
wouldn't have been
much.
so distracting. I just thought we
Hi,
were
Chad. My name is Brittany, and
hello,
I
Brittany.
am. Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Thank
This
you.
is my girlfriend Angie. We
Hi, Andy.
are down here in Daytona Beach, Florida, just trying
Beautiful.
to live our best life and
Okay,
with
so
healing energy.
okay, and what?
Do so with healing energies.
Very nice. So, like, when I saw the two of you, you know, you complement each other very well, because I see someone who's quite extroverted. I see somebody who's a little bit introverted. And in those dynamics, you know, there's those differences that you just, I think, like you were saying, with Veronica was saying earlier, with me, with her, or you with Angie, you know, it's holding space, right? So that's what we're kind of doing, is holding space for somebody to be their individual self, and yet also working together to be a unit, you know, and
Yeah, a
challenge each
dynamic
other out
unit.
of those comfort
Yeah.
zones, but understanding we do have our differences. Because as an introvert, I have an extrovert defense, so I pretend to be my opposite. You know, I'm a little tricky.
Yes, you
So,
are.
yeah. So as
Extrovert.
an introvert, you know, you can go in public, you can be doing wonderful things, but you need your alone time to refuel. And for the extrovert, you know, they can be at home, but they need to go outside with people to be recharged. You know,
Yes,
and that's
there you
kind of like,
go.
so you just learn to dance with each other that way a little bit. I
That's
think
a
you know, in
big
the
thing,
relationship.
actually. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and then it goes on further and further, but it's a beautiful connection, because, you know, opposites attract, and usually down to a percentage. You know, there's a test you can take online through the Hypnosis Motivational Institute in Tarzana. You know, I can make references to a link later.
Yeah,
that will test out your personality types, and it's usually pretty accurate to a percentage. And you'll notice each other will score the exact opposite. You'll be 70% of your own personality and 30% of hers, and she will be
Vice versa.
Yeah, vice versa, you know, or something like that, to a
We
percentage.
actually, well, I was gonna say, we actually just had our star chart done last night. So to expand upon what you're saying and what you're saying here is, it really is very, very true. And the placements of her houses, a lot of them, we had very similar. We had a lot of overlap. So it was very much a parallel relationship. But you're right, especially in the introvert, the ways of healing and the way that we maneuver through life is just a little bit different. She, like she was talking about, she's an internal processor, whereas I'm external. The second I get it out of my body, it no longer exists. I've already found the healing solution. I've already made the changes. That's how, as soon as I get it out, it's not my problem. Hers,
Yeah.
she can't get it out until it's already fully processed, and then she can get it out. And so it really is holding space and trying to figure out how to make that happen.
Yeah, when
where
it's
we
stacked
can
on my
continue
shelf,
to
when we
heal.
stack it on our shelf, and then we could discuss it, you know, but it's
Yeah.
floating around in there. It's not stacked on my shelf yet.
Exactly.
all emotions get
Then I use the
compartmentalized.
wrong words and say the wrong shit, and then it's a whole big mess, you know?
Yep. And so, you know, it'll be an interesting relationship, because that creates the dynamics that make a relationship what it is, you know, and gives it its mechanics and everything, you know, to work with and stuff like that. And then I think, Veronica, you're talking about the healing process and getting a massage. And I wanted to comment about that, because I think we do store a lot of our muscle memory, a lot of our memories in our muscles, I mean.
Yeah.
And so as they're
Oh,
massaging
gotcha.
them, you know, if you do have an area where there's not, it's going to be triggering that muscle, but it's also going to be triggering that memory if you're tuned into it when you're under. Maybe it comes out later, you know, when it feels safer to. But I think it does, you know, or you have to keep going back in for that same massage, you know, otherwise.
I don't know if you guys have tried it or heard of it, but a somatic massage is very good at releasing stored tension, stored energy. So somatic massages are very good for and Thai massages, to do actual Thai massage is very good as well, about getting those energy centers flowing, moving, and releasing, because we absolutely, for our traumas, you guys apparently have it in your shoulders. I keep it in my hips and lower back, keep all my traumas. So that's where I constantly, because mine seems to be in the face of like safety and security and feeling, you know, foundational. And so that's where I keep a lot of mine, is down there. But somatic massages, I'll tell everybody that'll listen about it.
No, yeah, I'm gonna try that. Thank you. I've had the surgeries from S1 through L5, and then the 4 cervical here, 3 through whatever. And I have titanium, and now they want surgery in the middle part where the, you know,
thoracic region is.
lats, the lats and all that. And I'm like, I don't want to do another back surgery. I need other surgeries, but it's like, I'm like tired of having them cut me open for everything, you know, and I just had to learn how to walk again. So yes, a lot of things have to do with being safe from my childhood, your guys' childhood. And my police officer friend, he told me, "Do you know why we became police officers, Veronica?" And I said, "Yeah, because I didn't want anybody going through what I did as a child go through it. I wanted to defend and protect the children." And he says, "Veronica," he's like, "because you had to make sure you were safe." And I just lost it. I started crying, and I'm like, you know, you're right. Like,
damn it.
Damn it. Yes.
Exactly. But it really is. A lot of people that go into, you know, Leo's local law enforcement or first responders very much are and even into the nursing. So any one of those public helping is very much because they experienced a trauma, and they do not want anybody else to see, to feel, or to endure the things that they've seen. And they become the heroes and the strength and the people that they needed when they were young. And so it really is and I think that's why my voice is so important. That's why me speaking up for women's healing, you know, growing up with a mom that she was not living the life that she wanted to live, and she had to constantly be a chameleon in her own world. She was traumatized and, you know, really brutalized as a kid and into her younger years. And she went through a lot of things, and she fell into the trap that, you know, especially our society makes, but it's not just ours. The husband and the kids and the marriage and the things that they say that we're supposed to do, except for she was not living her best life. And that was a torment to her. And her torment was was taken out on us kids. And that was one of the parts of my healing, that when I essentially blew up my own life between Jason and Angie and everything that we had here. One of the things that I had to come to terms with is I'm now following not only my desired path, but I'm breaking the chains of what my mom did, because my mom stayed with a good man, even though she was unhappy, she stayed because he was a good man. And Jason, I could have done the exact same thing. Jason was a really good man. There's no denying it. There's not a single person that's ever met that soul that didn't fall in love. So it had nothing to do with him. It had everything to do with we had unequal healing, not only processes, but we were unmatched. And I can't make him heal the way that not only the way that I heal, but at the level or the frequency and all of that. And it was just, he was not at a place to face himself. And so I could have absolutely gone down that same path and stayed because he was a good man. And I heard Terry, who's my mom, I heard Terry in my head. She's long gone now, but saying, don't do it. Don't do it. Do not continue a cycle just because they're a good person. If you're unhappy, if it's not working, and that doesn't mean I loved him any less. That doesn't mean he deserves any less. That doesn't mean that either one of us truly did anything wrong. It just means that where we were at in life we were no longer in a parallel play. It was, we weren't growing together. We had started to separate, and the rift was just too much for our healing to overcome. And it didn't matter how many safe spaces I created if I wasn't having safe communication reciprocated. And so I knew that when I blew up my life, that I was doing it to break the cycles that so many women in my lineage have come before. They stayed. So many women I know, so many role models, so many friends still are. And so I'm watching women that sacrifice their desire and their passion and their exuberance for life, for comfort and safety. And oh my God, I just about fell into that trap of my own self in our relationship, of, giving up, I don't want to say giving up, but forgetting to, like she said, pour into myself, forgetting to pour into myself enough that, and just taking the safety and the comfort of our relationship, because the pouring into myself is probably, as it should, mix up our existence.
I'm glad you brought that up, because what I was taught, and I'm sure you guys were, is you have to fill your own love tank in order to help others. However, that triggered something. Pouring into yourself, usually it stops when you are in a comfort zone, and your mind becomes automatic. The way I was raised is the 1950s home wife with the heels and the dress and the makeup, and as soon as my husband was home, hey, here's your tea, you're okay, your food's ready, 3 meals a day, the full body massage every night if he wanted it, because I am a giver that way. A lot of us star beings are givers, but I wasn't being reciprocated, and I was dying like the flower that needs water. But instead of me pouring into myself, taking time, you're being bruised and battered at home, being broken more. How do you find so what I did, and I just knew when I started the other channel, called the first channel that I started that was called Unchaining Hearts. The second one was Unchained
I remember,
Hearts.
yes, I was there for
Remember?
that. Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I was there for that. I remember that, absolutely.
So I saw my heart that was in chains, and it was all ready to be busted, and it was bruised and in shackles and thorns. And I'm like, if I don't go through that wall, if I don't go through that freaking wall of healing, I'm going to die. And if I die going through that wall, well, fuck it then. I did it.
Because you're already dying. You're already there. You were already there. And it, like, at that point, just the sense of relief that, excuse me, perfect segue. That's how I started my healing journey to begin with, was I'm already dying. So I literally have nothing left to lose. so I can either give this last opportunity my biggest hurrah, because so I don't know if you remember this story, but I joke about it all the time, and I want to figure out how to incorporate it into my healing method. But my entire healing journey started with a meme, because why not? And it was this simplistic meme that said, in a body that exudes gratitude can no longer house depression. And I was like, well, let me try that out, because I'm full of depression. I've got loads of it, and I've housed a mansion worth of depression. Let me see if this works, because I'm going to prove it wrong. I'm going to tell it, I'm going to prove it wrong. And so it was a win-win. If I proved it wrong, I was right. And if I was wrong, I was in the right. So it didn't, and it really was the catalyst that brought me to my daily gratitude. And I'm at 2,460. Today will be 2,468 days of daily gratitude.
Yes, that is what caught my attention, because you were like at 600 some days, and I'm like, how this girl, what the heck is she doing? Like, I got to tune into that,
Yeah.
And I love that you kept the days counting. And can you say it again? How many days are gratitude?
2,468 days of
Yay.
consistent gratitude. That is, I will start 7 years in November.
Wow.
That'll be beautiful. 7 years of daily gratitude. And it changed my life. It changed everything. I started with gratitude first. And from there, I cured my depression. I cured my anxiety. I got off of all Western medicine. I went from completely disabled to owning a crystal business and thriving. And then, so I will always attribute it genuinely to my gratitude and figuring out how to shift my life into a state of deep, profound gratitude just for my existence and just for who I am and what I bring to the table. Nothing else. Everything else is just a cherry on top. But if you can get to a point where you find deep, profound gratitude just for your own existence, I swear nothing else feels richer than that.
Nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. I was doing, when I met you and did that, that you were doing that. I don't know if you remember, but if I showed it on Facebook, I know I did. I created a jar of gratitude, like, oh, my son and I did this, or I'm so grateful because this happened to me. And I would put them in this little jars. And then there's a video on when I was like 272 pounds and I was doing my readings, the Unchaining Hearts one, and I showed that, and I would just like put all this stuff in there, and then I take it out and read all of them, and then I started a gratitude journal back then, and that was at the same time so you inspired me a lot, and I'm grateful because you guys are inspiring more people today, and maybe you could do readings for them. 444. We do readings. Britany does readings. Angela, I don't know what you do. If you want to tell anybody and everybody where where they can get a hold of you, that way. And we have 15 more minutes, and whatever you guys want to talk about, it's whatever you guys want to talk about. We have no rules here, right, Chad?
Love that.
I'm actually in a point in my life where I just went through a huge identity loss also. So I am reforming myself from this self. I feel like I'm getting closer to maybe instruments or something musical with musical healing.
100% frequencies. Don't let her downplay it. Her ability to hear a frequency and be able to place it. It's like one of those people that have perfect pitches. I don't understand it. Don't get me wrong. Music and frequencies are the heartbeat of my existence. But I'm not skilled. I'm not educated the same way. Her innate gift allows her to hear a sound, know exactly what frequency it is, and then tell you what it's healing. She is impeccable when it comes to that. Yeah.
I'm connecting with that a lot more. I will say I also grew an identity off of a trauma piece. So I was pursuing martial arts for a long time. I thought that was my gift to the world. I thought I was going to teach women mainly self-defense and martial arts until I admitted to myself, you know what, I grew this piece off of trauma. I am here because I had to feel safe also, because my classes weren't resonating with me anymore. They were starting to feel, it wasn't fun anymore. You know, my adrenaline would spike. I mean, we literally have to fight. And I think I just either grew out of it, realized, admitted to myself, just surrendered that piece. But that was a huge piece. So I am just now figuring out what I'm.
Hers the baby.
Yeah, like I am so new, and I can feel this thing that I have to embrace and work through and release still. So I'm like on the precipice of kind of blooming, but I just don't want to affect Britany any more than I have so far. So we're just trying to figure out how to work through.
We really are, because it really is very hard to combat somebody else's cycles when they're repeating the same patterns, and they're, oh, I think you're mute. Oh, good, you're not muted. Okay. When they're repeating the same patterns and they're going through the same cycles and they're only digging a little bit. And so that was one of the things that we had to have a big, you know, come together meeting about, was that I can see your healing and I can honor that and still love that. And I am okay with that. However, it is not at all to the level that
it can be, right?
That it can be, that it should be, that and for lack of a better word, I really do. I require a level of self-awareness and self-accountability, because she was great. It was, you know, my relationship with her was truly the first instance that I've ever had of a safe space where I could have big feelings and then express those big feelings and be in a safe space. I wasn't hounded. I wasn't berated. I wasn't negated. I wasn't abused from those things. I got to say, hey, these are big feelings. And even more importantly, they're bigger than you. So you're not responsible for all of them. You know, you might be responsible for this little bit, but you're not responsible for all of them, but I'm still having them. And then her be safe enough to go, okay, well, let me see what part I played and discuss, which was great. And that kept me so safe because I had never had that. So through the collapse of the relationship with Jason and through ours trying to morph and everything, I really had to go through a lot of pivotal changes in the last 2 years that without a safe space, I would not have been able to accomplish and do. And but it was through, you know, it was through survival mode and not, you know, I'm getting back into that thriving creator mode. But it was, I still needed that safe space to make any of that happen. And now that we've gotten through that, I don't require just a safe space anymore. Like I now I'm perfectly fine. I got my own safe space. I'm good. Now I require more. Now I require action. Now I require not just you acknowledging, but now I need the changes and the growth and stuff like that. And so which is great because we just went through the Lionsgate. So that's exactly what we're supposed to be going through. And everything's happening you know, all of her traumas are coming up and all of mine, we're triggering and traumaing each other. It's back and forth. It's great.
So fun.
So fun. It's just
I know that.
trauma. But it's okay because I have a safe space to tell her that's traumatic. And she has enough awareness to say, oh, that's what I did. And that's huge. And that is not seen a lot in relationships. And I think that if more people can see us going through those things in real time, the stopping, because I can still go, hey, two things exist at once. I am proud of you for healing. I'm also hurt that this happened. And I can acknowledge both things without taking it out on her.
Yeah.
I mean, if she pops off at the mouth, we're going to have to readjust. But outside of that, it is a very, very gracious space. And I genuinely appreciate that because not a lot of grace is given in triggers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at a place where I'm grateful for Chad because I've had other friends that I thought were friends in the community, but they would constantly criticize me. Why did you do this? Why didn't you do that? you were a police officer. You're supposed to have perfect spelling and perfect attitude, and fuck you. Like I had to get rid of them. I had to get rid of them. Sadly, I still love them. I forgive them
Yeah,
for
that
me.
doesn't never negate
But
the love.
yeah, but now I have I, Chad and I have known each other like maybe 4 years, and now this past year and a half, 2 years, he even came to see me like 3 or 4 years ago on a meet and greet. But we've become more. I feel so safe with you, Chad, and I'm really, really, really grateful. I have I've never known he's my brother, like I said. I feel like he's my guardian. Like, even though I have my Sheila, because Sheila the She-Hulk, and they even called me that in the police academy.
I don't doubt that.
Because yeah. So Chad helped
Your
me to
fierceness.
channel her again.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I would watch Wonder Woman and the Hulk, but the Hulk is the one I created for me as a female.
Yeah.
And that was my protector. We all have ours, right? We have different ones,
Right.
maybe we have multiple ones. But Chad did a regression like 2 weeks ago, and man, did I cry. Like, because Sheila's always angry. But we found out why. When he asked a question,
Anger is always the bodyguard for pain. It is.
I'm just the Lionsgate. My both kids are Leos. They've been going through stuff that they've been healing too. It's like amazing how just having this conversation is just, oh, I'm like,
it does.
like a mermaid.
Yeah.
You know,
It just
happy.
blossoms your heart open. But it really
Yeah.
and truly, like you said, without that
Support, I guess.
do what?
Like, without the support or safety net, or how would you call it?
Definitely without I mean, it is very hard, and I think damn near impossible for you to heal in the environment that's breaking you. So, but yes, having a safety and support and that person for you, Chad, you know, that person for you that will allow you to have your big feelings, because we're all going to have them. And one of the things that I've been saying, especially here recently, is your feelings are valid, but that doesn't mean that they're the facts. Facts are facts, that they have nothing to do with feelings. You get to say, okay, so here are the facts, and then here are my feelings about it. And everybody that's involved in that situation are going to have different feelings about the same facts. And I always use the example, you can go to a party and everybody's having the greatest time. You're all playing games. You're having the time of your life. But, you know, the roommate comes home. They just got fired that day. They lost their grandpappy, you know, and nobody knows. And they walk into this house, and immediately the vibe changes, or immediately the energy is sucked out of the room, or even if it's not, even if no one can tell that poor buddy in the corner is having a bad day, they're all having the time of their life, and they're living this beautiful. The thing is the perception is completely different. The fact is, there's a party. Now everybody has a different feeling about the party. Some of them are happy. Some of them are using it as a dissociation to get away from the lives that they don't like. And then there's buddy in the corner who think that this party just frickin' sucks. It is the worst timing. It is absolutely horrible. How could these people just celebrate on his worst day? Still the same facts. They're throwing a party, completely different perception. And his feelings are just as valid as Tommy, who's having the best time. And so I have to go into every situation knowing that facts are the facts, and that my feelings about the facts are valid, but that does not get to take away from how I interact.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Chad, anything?
Yeah, Chad.
I
feel like we didn't give you enough talking time, Chad.
Well, that's okay, because a lot of what you have said I had written down already before you even said it a lot. So it was just nice to hear you saying it, and then Veronica on the same page, because I knew we were all there. It was just a matter of getting it out on air and stuff. And a lot of that is like, I have this philosophy, for one thing, that there's snakes that crawl through our family lineage, you know, and we're here to chop the head off of them. And whether that be abuse or whether that be, you know, being abused or abusing or something like that, we're here to chop
Trauma. It's always trauma.
You know, you can call them trains, you can call them snakes, but something that just goes right through the family and passes on through you.
Chad, I can't see all your face. Move a little bit if you don't mind. I want to see all your face. There you go. Thank you.
I didn't
Angela,
know.
I could finally see
For me,
you.
I got this
Okay.
big wide view, so maybe I'm seeing it different.
Go
so
ahead. Thank you.
sorry, I was like, okay, so then 1 second. And so the other thing was, you know, because I was really big on loving yourself. It's something I'm not good at, you know, and you got to recognize that. Are you loving yourself? Because if you are, you can say it all you want, but it's going to come through by loving the things around you, you know. And so you have to love your coffee, you have to love your breakfast, you have to love your
dog,
you know, can you go outside and love the trees? Can you feel the love for them? You know, and then I was like, well, there's a step further, and this is going to be too much for them, but it's gratitude. And then you start talking about gratitude. So I had that all written down too. And then, but you see, I need to start doing the gratitude again, because I used to do it. And when I started, it's, you know, probably not quite like it would be right now, but like, it was kind of like, you know, I'm grateful for the freaking sky. I'm grateful for those freaking trees over there. You know, I just didn't have anything. I was like, you know what else am I freaking grateful for? You know, but I did it. And then I would start finding things. I'm like, you know what? I am actually grateful for this and this.
It gets deeper and deeper.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah. And I have that journal. I had like not 2,000 pages, but I probably have a good 40 or 40 something. So I was doing at one point. And I know that is a key element, what you said, that gratitude.
It is. And you really do. That's a great way to start out. Start out with the little things. I'm grateful for what is happening through my day. So like you said, I have good food in my belly, or I saw a shooting star, or a tree was dancing as I drove by. Those little things can be the catalyst that you need to start turning that inward. And one of the things that I used as a tool was to the whole speaking into a mirror. If you can talk to yourself while you're looking in the mirror, and I know it's one of the hardest things, but one of the shifts that I made for my little brain in order to make this happen, and it's the hardest thing to do, is speak to yourself in the mirror like you would talk to the person that you love the most. So for me, that was my childhood friend, Katie. Her and I are little soulmates. We, have been friends since we were 1. And if Katie was standing in that spot right there and looked exactly like me, what are some of the compliments that I've gotten in my life? Oh, well, I have a vibrant smile, or my eyes light up when I talk about things. And I would start there. I would take other people's compliments of me and use those as I am grateful, or I can see that in myself. And then turns, it's a very hard process, but it really does work.
That's a stepping stone to do that hard process, though. That's a little, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little hint on how to, it's a little life hack to start speaking to yourself with grace and love and compassion, and all the things that you would offer the people that you genuinely love the deepest is the things that we completely and utterly deny ourselves all the time. And so that was one of the things that I did to fall in love with myself and see myself through the lens of other people's genuine love for me. I stole their lenses and I put them on my eyes.
I love it. I did that too. And now even when I put on my makeup or anything, I'm looking directly into my eyes and I'm like, I love you, bitch. Like, a bitch in a good word, like not, bad.
Right,
just
not derogatory.
Yeah. Right. Like you're amazing. Now, one thing that helped me was about 2 months ago, I went to visit my daughter at her work, and I met this girl that I've always wanted to meet, her friend. She's like, oh my gosh, anytime they're, bro, so-and-so's mom is here. Oh my gosh, they come rushing and they give me hugs. And one of them said, wow, like I just felt the light come out. Like I felt your light with your hug. And that has helped me so much. And even when I'm being attacked, I look straight into my eyes and I'm like, you motherfucker, come at me, bitch. I'm going to kill you. You know what I mean? Or I'll say, hey, I'll use your energy and I'm going to create something beautiful. It just depends.
Exactly. Yep. And that is one of the most powerful things ever, when you can sit there and when you can take somebody else's directed energy and say, you know what, thank you. I'm going to take that energy. And she's such a transmuter that she is I mean, she really is genuinely so good at transmuting energy and dispersing it. And so I do take so many cues from that, but changing that and making that go from because it really can feel like the attacks, it can feel so heavy, it can drain your energy, it can be all the things if you allow it, or it can be a catalyst for your powerful transformation.
I ever since I changed my attitude to transmuting them to build, I have had so many good things happen to me in just 1 week. Angie, can you give us like 3 examples of what you do, and then we'll go on. Thank you.
You know what? I've never actually used the energy to build anything. I've always felt it as things that I have to like disperse out up or into the earth. So you're actually teaching me something. I'm going to try that, because it's like all the stuff coming at you that you could probably use to charge up and maybe
radiate out
instead of taking it, violet flaming it, putting it in the earth, making sure I'm anchored, and you know what I mean, having that clear channel for everything to keep flowing. So I'm actually taking notes from you. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do with entities and attachments and those things. But if it's a construct that you built yourself, you have to transmute it. You can't.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So you got
a great way to say that. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
kind of.
yeah.
Well, shall we do another show in a couple weeks with Britany and Angie? Yes.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for being on Codebreaker
Yeah,
Real
and you
Talk.
can find me. I mean, if you are following her, you can always find me. My name is Britany Duncan. I'm on Facebook. That's where I do my gratitude. I do morning breathings around 7:40 on Eastern time, because I know you're at least in Arizona. So I know it's a little early for you, but 7:40 in the mornings, I do some breathing. I make sure that we recenter and refocus and realign our day to be the right way. And I'm getting back into my cards. So I do readings, but yeah, my biggest thing right now is just making sure that I empower other women and empower everyone around me.
Thank you, Mama. And Angie, where can they find you?
Through me, because she's not there yet.
I'm not very much on social media. I'll pop in, like, because Brittany's just now giving me that safe space to know that it's okay to be seen. It's okay to do these things and speak about it. I've been very behind the shadows, type of hidden, moving about. But I'm trying to find my spot now. So
we've been together for 3 years, and it literally, as many crystal feeds as I've done, it wasn't until like a week and a half ago she got on feed with me for like one of the first times ever, and all the people that follow me and that watch they were like, oh my God, we finally see her. We know that she's real. She exists.
Like, they didn't know my voice, my laugh, like none of it. Cause I'm very much, I use my social media for memes and watch funny things.
Yeah.
I don't put myself out there a lot, but I'm starting to. So.
I'm a maker, but so if you want to find her, you can get to her through me.
Sounds great.
But I want to thank you both.
Yeah. Go ahead, Britany.
I was just gonna say, I wanted to thank you both for having me. Thank you for introducing me into your world again. Thank you for being in alignment with where I'm at now and giving me
I picked up that frequency, girl. I'm like, I gotta talk to her.
It was, and
it made a lot of crown tingles just from our conversation. Like, around the crown feels so good. Absolutely.
You guys are incredible. Thank you for embracing our love and what we have to offer this world. Genuinely, thank you so much.
And you have a diamond light reflection behind you, Angie. So you got this diamond light behind you.
She does, like a triangle.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
All right.
Beautiful. I love you guys. Okay. So
it was nice meeting you, Chad.
Nice to meet you, Britany. Thank you, and Angie.
I'll put it up as soon as I can. Like I said, the laptop's kaput, but I'll find a way. I'll have Chad help me. So I love you guys so much, and I appreciate you. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.